And then you have, apparently, I don't have enough detail to make a final judgment. It looks like some of the militia folks were in there. Young man is the guy that shot 2 people. I mean, and where's the condemnation coming for that? So look, if I want to talk about safety, the biggest safety issue is all the people dying from COVID. Over 1,000 yesterday again. It's leveling off about 1,000 people a day. We're worse off than any other country in the world right now. Oh, I'm very concerned about it. You saw what got me involved in this race, and I hadn't planned on running in the first place, was what happened in Charlottesville. The same kind of appeal to, these guys don't use a dog whistle, they use a bullhorn. And there's a 17-year-old young man. I don't know anything about him. All I know is that there's some reporting about a connection to a militia in Illinois. This is the same guy when people came out of Charlottesville and a young woman gets killed and they're spewing hate and their veins bulging and carrying swastikas and white supremacists. And he get asked, what about what just happened? He said, they're very fine people on both sides. He just keeps pouring fuel on the fire. He's encouraging this. He's not diminishing it at all. This is his America now. And you want to end where we are now, we've got to end his tenure as president.
They're really showing themselves to do really well. Come on, man.
Here with more in her very first interview since her son took the stand. Wendy Rittenhouse is with us. I'm sure this is a hard time for you and your family. I want to take this audience back to yesterday when your son was testifying and he had a tough time. Let me play this.
I was cornered from in front of me with Mr. Zeminski. And there were three people right there.
Take a deep breath now.
That's what That's what I run.
We're gonna just take it. Time for our break anyway.
Wendy, I watched that. I'm a pretty good I read people pretty well. I've done it my whole life. And that seemed like a classic panic attack that we were witnessing on the stand. That's your son. How did that make you feel?
I just broke down with Kyle crying like that. It made me feel heartbroken, sad, and I wanted to just go up there and just hug him and tell him it would be okay.
When the then candidate, now President of the United States, and other elected officials that don't know anything about your son refer to him as a white supremacist, I have yet to see any evidence whatsoever that he is such a person. And when prominent people say that, how did that impact you and how did it impact him?
When I saw what afterwards of the President Kennedy candidate debate, when I saw that, I was in shock. I was angry. President Biden don't know my son whatsoever, and he's not a white supremacist. He's not a racist, and he did that for the votes. And I was so angry for a while at him, and what he did to my son, he defamed him.
Let's go back to that night and let's roll this videotape. This was put together by your son's former attorney, Lynn Wood. And you see your son running and you see a crowd of people racing to catch up to him. The first person knocks off his hat. Then he's down on the ground. Then we've got this picture of an individual with his leg up, about to pound his leg into his face, into the cement. That was one of the shootings. What do you see there?
I see this man trying to kick my son in the face. I was scared. I was frightened. I thought my son was going to die that night.
When you see the tape and you've heard witnesses testify that he was trying to de-escalate the situation there, when you look at the tape, when you look at the witness testimony, and then the prosecution brings on their star witness who got shot by your son, and that star witness admitted on the stand under oath that he aimed a loaded gun at your son before your son shot him. That would seem to me a classic case of self-defense. Your thoughts?
When I look at that video with that guy pointing a gun to my son's head, I thought he was going to die. This guy just pointed his gun at his head. And it took a long time to just to grasp on that he was alive, and knowing that he's with me, I'm grateful, and I'm relieved that he's okay, but he has a lot of healing to do because he does have nightmares from this.
Let me ask you about the judge who has been extraordinarily harsh against the prosecution, that they're right on the borderline. They may be over the borderline. It better stop. I was astonished when you began your examination by commenting on post-arrest silence. It has been basic law in this country for 40, 50 years. I have no idea why you would do something like that. Don't get brazen with me. You knew very well attorneys can't go into these types of areas. Do you think your son has received a fair trial?
The judge is very fair. People that I talked to that lives in Kenosha all their lives, they told me that Judge Schroeder is a very fair judge, and he doesn't allow no nonsense in his courtroom.
Nobody ever knows what a jury is going to do. I'm not asking you specifically for their reactions, but on a scale of 1 to 10, how seriously do you believe they're taking this case, because they hold your son's life in their hands?
Yeah, they do. And with the jury, they've been keeping a close eye on every evidence, every testimony, and they're paying good attention what's been said. That's the truth.
Let me ask you this last question. I know your son was a lifeguard. I know your son's stated reason for going there was to help protect stores and help on the medical front. Have you and your son discussed whether or not, if he had to do it over again, he would go into a situation like that?
With Kyle, I know him, and he probably would do it again, because that's the type of person he is. He always wants to help people. Even since he was a little boy, that's all he wanted to do, was help people. It doesn't matter if it was raking leaves for the neighbors, talking to them, or just being goofy.
Yeah.
That's how I raised him, is to help people.
Wendy, I've learned in 33 years of broadcasting not to predict a jury outcome, but I will tell you, I think the prosecution has put on a horrific case. Thank you for being with us, and our thoughts and prayers are with you and your family.
Do you have any reactions to the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict?
I just heard a moment ago.
Do you have any reactions?
I didn't watch the trial, so
Do you stand by your past comment equating him to white supremacy?
Well, look,
I stand by what the jury has concluded. The jury system works, and we have to abide by it.
Sir, what is the state of your health, sir? What is the state of your health after this camp today?
Good. They're going to release all the detail. I feel great. Nothing's changed. We're in good shape. And so, I'm looking forward to celebrating my 58th birthday.
Sir, on the Build Back Better plan, are you signing to or now that it's passed the House?
Pardon me?
The Build Back Better plan, now that it's passed the House, when do you expect it to land on your desk? What's
Well,
the goal?
I don't know. It's going to take a while to get through the Senate. I think it'll probably be after Thanksgiving.
Would you sign it if it doesn't contain paid family leave?
I will sign it, period. You need a pardon?
Any other?
No. Turkey's thank you.
They're really showing themselves to do really well. Come on, man.